Good evening, I am Dr. Sanjay Sharma, Associate Professor Surgical Oncology. Today I am going to present carcinoma of GB sulcus and alveolus. Now regarding the introduction, cancers of the oral cavity accounts for 2 to 6% of the all cancers and 30% of all head and neck cancers. Squamous cell carcinoma subsites are markedly variable depending upon the environmental, cultural and genetic risk factors. India has got one of the most highest incidences in world in the oral cavity cancers. Oral cancers rank number 1 in men while it is third in women in India. Oral cancers constitutes 12% of the all cancers in men and 8% of all cancers in women. In India, the age standardized incidence rates of oral cancer is 10.1 for men. The most common subsite in the oral cavity cancer in Indian communities in Africa and Southeast Asia is GBS, which is approximately 40% of the all. While in Western world, its rate is around 10%. That's why gingival cancer is aptly described as Indian oral cancers. 2 and 5 year survival rates is about 63% and 53% respectively in Apex institutes. Now, talking regarding the etiology of the oral cavity cancers, tobacco and arena nut are the most common cause of GB cancers. The migrants from South Asian countries to the Western world show typically more incidence. The substances used with different names and preparations such as gutka, mawa, chickpeas and kheni. They cause site-specific squamous cell cancers while they are placed typically buccoalveolar sulcus and gingivo-labial sulcus. Increasing alcohol and tobacco consumption significantly elevates the risk of squamous cell cancers. Deficiencies such as iron, vitamin A, C and E are associated with increased risk of oral cancers. Chronic trauma by teeth or dentures and poor oral hygiene is also a cause of oral cavity cancers. Some viruses like HPV virus, principally type 16, causes oral cavity cancers, especially the oropharynx. The detection of HPV virus plus E6 and E7 region and E6 mRNA of only 3.9% is reported in oral cancers. Submucous fibrosis is proved to be a precancerous lesion and a major problem in arena nut and beetle squid chewer population in India. Now regarding the pathology of the oral cavity cancers, the majority of the GB sulcus cancers are squamous cell cancers. Other cancers include minor salivary gland cancers, lymphoma, Kaposi sarcoma and mucosal melanomas. Now what are the pre-malignant conditions which are in oral cavity cancers? Leukoplakia is very common, which is clinically a white patch, but pathologically changes are hyper and parakeratosis and acanthosis with or without cellular atypia or dysplasia. There is about 0 to 20% chance of progression to invasive cancer depending upon the type of leukoplakia. There may be erythroplakia, which is a red patch with or without granular appearance and has increased risk of malignant transformation, which is approximately 8 to 20%. It needs more aggressive intervention compared to the leukoplakia. Submucous fibrosis, it is a pre-malignant condition and characterized by it is a pre-malignant condition characterized by submucous fibrosis of the oral cavity due to excessive deposition of the fibroblast and collagen fibers induced by the carcinogens such as ericolin and tobacco, etc. Oral submucous fibrosis presents in various stages from whitish discoloration to the papules with erosive ulcers. The carcinogens inhibit phagocytosis of the fibroblast collagens, which leads to abnormal deposition. Lichen planus, which is again a pre-malignant condition, and it is an autoimmune oral mucosal inflammatory condition affecting mainly the buccal mucosa with a 6 to 10% risk of changing into squamous cell carcinoma. The variants of lichen planus includes reticular, papular, atrophic, ulcerative, bullous and plaque formation have been described in literature. Now frank squamous cell carcinoma. Squamous cell carcinoma of GB sulcus area has different morphologic subtypes and are associated with the biological behavior. It may be a verrucous carcinoma, may be a papillary carcinoma, conventional invasive, or sarcomatoid or basaloid type. Now regarding something about verrucous carcinoma. Verrucous carcinoma is a exophytic growth with warty appearance and submucosal invasion with broad, pushing well-defined tumor cells. Biologically, this is usually locally destructive cancers without metastatic potentials, especially in pure form. Excision of the entire lesion finds out an areas of dedifferentiation and invasive garden variety of the squamous cell carcinoma. Now, papillary squamous cell carcinoma. An uncommon variant characterized by the papillary proliferations is also non-invasive and non-metastatic in its pure form. Conventional invasive squamous cell carcinoma. This is typically a keratinized or non-keratinized cells with nuclear pleomorphism with or without vascular, lymphatic and perineural invasion. The most common variety of squamous cell carcinoma is detected in GB area. Sarcomatoid squamous cell carcinoma, a rare variant having sarcoma-like spindle cells. These are typically invasive, aggressive, coarse, showing resistant to the conventional radiotherapy and chemotherapy. Basaloid squamous cell carcinoma has got poor cellular differentiation, necrosis, hyaline material and keratin pearl formation. This is very aggressive carcinoma as compared to the other forms. Distant metastasis is quite rare, ranging from 8 to 17%, and the most common site for distant metastasis is lung, liver, bone. Now there are some differences in the staging that we will discuss, but we will discuss more about the management. Surgery and radiotherapy are the mainstay of the curative treatment. Depending upon the site of GB sulcus, alveolus, GB sulcus or pure mucosal buccal mucosa, the extent of primary tumor and the status of the lymph nodes of the treatment of these tumors may be surgery, radiation used alone or in combination with or without chemotherapy. Stage, proximity to the mandible and its location anteriorly or posteriorly influences the initial treatment of GB sulcus cancers. Chemotherapy is used as a palliative or in neoadjuvant setup in special situations. Early lesions T1, T2 can be effectively treated with surgery or radiation as a single modality. Surgery is the treatment of choice when submucous fibrosis is associated and for the lesions located in lower GBS may or may not be involving mandible, as radiation causes osteoradionecrosis in these situations. Advanced lesions require multimodality treatment with surgery as an initial part and management when these tumors are when this disease is operable. Surgical aspect of GB sulcus cancers. Management of primary. Removal of the entire primary cancer with clear tumor margin 3-dimensionally is the goal of surgical resection. In field of cancerization or submucous fibrosis, the margins may be widely taken, almost encompassing the entire buccal mucosa complex. Surgical approaches for the GB sulcus cancers are peroral, lower cheek flap, lip split, visor flap, or rarely upper cheek flap, depending upon the size and the location of the primary. Different surgical tools such as CO2 laser for early cancers, ultrasonic scissors for ITF clearance, precision saw for the mandibular cuts and used to facilitate the tumor clearance as well as functional and aesthetic preservation. Peroral resection is only advisable in small situations situated anteriorly or with adequate mouth opening without gross mandibular involvement. Different schools have suggested different managements of ITF disease in form of upfront compartment clearance or use of neoadjuvant chemotherapy, etc., with varied results. Now something about the management of mandible. The concept of commando operation warranting the need of in-continuity composite resection of uninvolved mandible is obsolete, as no lymphatic channels pass through the mandible. Segmental or hemimandibulectomy is indicated only when mandible is grossly involved by the tumor. Invasion of the soft tissue of inferior alveolar canal by the tumor massive paramandibular spread that is adjacent to the mandible. Thank you. Rest we will talk next.